Hey folks, this is Lieburn, aka Sea Barge. Going to be demonstrating how to install the Underhood Ammeter bypass. Very simple installation, and also the cost is very low. And today I'm going to demonstrate on my girlfriend's Maggie's 69 Plymouth Fury 3, aka Frankie. She named him Frankie. And so anyways, hi. I don't know how to flip the camera over, okay, so bear with me. Alright, so we actually have, now Frankie has a 318 in it. We actually have a member in Finland that actually asked me to fabricate and ship him a wire for a 70 New Yorker with a 440. So I'm just going to add about an extra 6 inches of wire in order to accommodate the bigger engine and the location of the alternator. Okay, so all you need is some simple tools, a test light or a multimeter, one or the other, some basic tools. Okay, for the back of the alternator, a 7/16 socket, quarter-inch drive is fine. And for the battery stud on nut on relay, depending on your year, either a half-inch or a 9/16 Bach wrench. Barbecue lighter for a shrink tube, of course, you know, some pliers, you know, for wiring, side cutters, and some shrink tube, Fusible Link. Now, depending on your car, what we're going to do is that he has a PowerMaster 90 amp alternator, so we're going to go with a 10 gauge wire and a 16 gauge Fusible Link. Normally, for the 318 here, it only has like a 40 amp. I usually go 12 and the 16 as well. Okay, some basic electrical connections. All right, and a knife and that, so that we can go from there. Okay, so the goal is, underneath the hood, we're going to put a wire at the battery stud of the alternator, go all the way through the back, and install it at the starter relay, right at the big nut there. Okay, and that there is a piggyback on the charging system, and actually takes the load off the ammeter gauge itself. Okay. All right, let me see if I can get this done here, and try to get the camera to work at the same time. All right. I don't have a tripod or I don't have a selfie stick or anything, so I'm just doing the best I can here. I hope that works. All right. So I usually start off with this end here. Or strip the end. This is going to the alternator side. Just need a connector. And what I like to do as well is I use shrink tube on this end right here. So I actually remove the blue, the plastic casing on here. I cut it. Pull it out. Put some shrink tube on here. Then I put my connector on. need to get the right size. This here makes for a very clean installation and also prevents any grounding out at the alternator itself. All right, so I crimp this. This way, with the plastic off, I know and I can see that it is actually crimped and it doesn't fall off. All right. Slide my shrink tube over. I could have trimmed this, but I didn't. Here we go. Okay, so now we're going to put this up towards the car. That's better. There we go. Okay, I'm actually going to start this end here. Actually, I'm going to start over near the starter relay, and then I'm going to thread it through the back of the firewall first, and then I'll connect it to the alternator. So usually I thread it through the factory wire looms that are already here. You can use any color wire that you want. Usually black is a little more discreet, but you know, for any troubleshooting in that, if you prefer red or whatever, or you can use, you know, the plastic wire looms as well, just to hide it. Okay. Thread that through. A couple more over there. Put that over here. Leave myself lots of room on by the starter relay area. Alright. So I got the wire right here. And just follow along, you know, with the factory wiring harness looms on the valve cover. You can just pull through. Now make sure you disconnect the battery before anything, you know, I think I got ahead of myself there. But as you can see, my battery is disconnected. Okay, we'll do that. Safety first. You just pull through, go along the wire looms of the valve cover, underneath the hoses and wires. Like I say, the only difference between the big block and small block is just probably the location of the alternator. Probably about, you know, 4 to 6 inches difference, depending if it's got air conditioning or not. So that's that. So I'm going to leave myself a little bit of room here. Okay. Now I did remove the little plastic thing cover on the stud here just for demonstration purposes. Usually there's a little plastic black thing there so that way nothing arcs or grounds out. But just for this demonstration, it's removed for clarity. Okay. Usually this here stays on. Okay. Alright. So this is the factory black wire. Let's see, you put it on here. And you just double up with the one that you make up here. That's where you use your 7/16 1/4 inch drive ratchet. Alright, you can just thread this through the looms here. And the factory one on top of the alternator. There we go. Alright. Right now I'm just going to do this hand tight. Then I'll clean it up afterwards. Snug everything up. Put the dust cover back on. Okay. There. So it's still neat and tidy underneath the hood here. It's following the factory wire looms. And now we can go to where the starter relay is. I'm going to grab my fusible link or shrink tube. And also the wrench that fits the starter relay. And some other basic tools. If you got fender covers, use them. They act as a workbench too. Okay, let me get my light. So from the factory, typically they do have a fusible link somewhere along the fender, depending on the year. There it is right here, right? And it's a plug-in style as well. Okay, sometimes they're directly at the starter relay, like on the slab side, 65 to 68, and you can do this on the 65, 68s as well. The difference is you need about an extra 6.5 inches of wire because the starter relay, especially on 67, 68s, is actually on the inner fender by the washer jug. All right. Okay. So now we'll just remove the nut at the starter relay. There's a washer there. You reuse it as well. Okay. Goody. That's a good spot for the phone. Okay. All right. So here's our extra wire. Okay. So like I say, I'm going to leave a little bit of extra here for our member in Finland for his big Block 70 New Yorker. And you can always just zip tie it up together. And besides, if you ever have to cut it or, replace it, you'll have my extra wire to do so. Okay? All right. Just going to cut it right there. I left my wire strippers, the good ones actually, at home. Cars are in storage in a different location. There we go. Okay. So you get your fusible link. Which is tougher than opening than a pill bottle. All right. Now I'm going to use a butt connector. Yeah, sure, I should solder everything together, but if the fusible link blows, you're going to have to cut it on the side of the road. I'm going to use a butt connector anyways. So here's our fusible link. Basically, it's a wire. I got that glare there. Where's that coming from? Ah, there we go. Not helping. Okay. So the fusible link does come with a connector, a spade, and a butt connector. But I'm going to use, because I'm using heavier gauge wire, this here is not big enough. All right. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the bottom portion of this here, the blue part, And I'm going to put some shrink tube on there so it looks nice and clean. There we go, just a little bit of wire. Yeah, I'm going to cut this in half right now. I don't need all of it, so I'll just cut half. So you slide your fusible link, the shrink tube onto your link, install your spade. I'll crimp this and I'll heat it up. That's that. Especially, on the fusies, where the starter relay is on the firewall, you want a watertight connection. So there's my butt connector. I'm just going to squeeze that together. Make sure it doesn't pull out. I'm going to connect this to the wire that we installed already. Alright, now we install this to the starter relay. There we go. And that's done. And now you have 50% of the load going to the ammeter gauge taken away, and this wire actually takes the brunt of it. And if there's any shorts underneath the hood, this fusible link right here will actually pop before it goes and catches fire inside the vehicle. You will notice that your ammeter gauge will not swing as much as it used to because half of the load's been taken away from it. And so, not to worry about that. Okay? Now, reconnect your battery. Right, to your ground. And make sure there's power at your alternator. There we go. We're good. Okay. Now, if you really want to make it look pretty, you can do what I did with the bulb. I actually integrated it into the factory harness so you can barely see it. It is there, but it's actually integrated. Right, and like I say, from the firewall to the starter relay on the 67, 68, just add an extra 6.5 inches of wire, and you're good to go from there. All right, still got the factory fusible link here, plus the extra ones that I put in myself. Okay, all the big boats are sleeping. Right, hello. Yeah, dead in the water, but anyways. So, folks. Hope you enjoyed this. If there's any questions, just message me, and be more than happy to help. And so our brother in Finland, I'll be getting the wire shipped out to you. And with this video, hopefully you can get it on there and enjoy your car with a peace of mind. All right, guys. Until next time, we'll see you down the road.